Welcome everybody to a new My Hero Academia video, and guys, today I have the HAWKS Ultimate Guide for you. You guys know that I've been working on this. I streamed it. We had a really good time vibing. The stream was like 5 hours long. So yeah, we were just making the guide all together. Everyone was there, so it was really fun times. If you want to join next time with whatever character we get, whether it's Dabi or Mina or whoever, if you want to join, I will be streaming again whenever we get a new character while we make the ultimate guides. It was a lot of fun. Thank you everyone so much for all of your support. It was amazing. And yeah, so here is the ultimate guide. Like I promised you guys, as soon as I finished recording, streaming, I jumped straight into recording. So yeah, this is the guide. As usual, guys, I just make the pretty guides. That's it, and all the information, all the big brain combos and stuff like that comes from YuYJ. So huge shout out to him. As usual, he is the one, the big brain, the mind behind all of these guides. And so yeah, guys, let's just jump straight into it because Hawks is actually a fairly complicated character, fairly complicated. All right, guys, and we are here for his abilities, and basically we're going to start with his Q. His Q is pretty much like an AoE sort of aura that he has right around him, like feathers actually circle around Hawks, right, and they will hit whatever enemy they collide with. So that's pretty good, especially for PvE when you have to fight mobs. That's very nice. Also, guys, obviously, if you well, not obviously, right? But but if you press your Q again when it's active, you will actually pick up all the feathers from the floor. They will deal damage to the enemy if they hit him, right? And they will return back to your stack, right? You can see right there that my quirk bar is refilling again, right? You can see 52, right? Very slow, 53. Basically, you have like a stack of feathers, right, at all times, or when the fight begins, you have 60 feathers, and then you have to manage that stack, right? Like with your abilities, because your abilities will cost feathers. Most of them will cost feathers. So it's all about managing that sort of economy with your feathers, right? In order to get the most out of HAWKS, which is pretty cool. Honestly, it's a pretty cool mechanic. Also, one more thing to mention is that the enemy is marked with the W, right? And they get hit by my Q, right? If they get hit by these feathers, I will get extra charges, not extra charges, but my ult will charge faster, right? So keep that in mind. So yeah, it's pretty simple. That's pretty simple. So let's move on to his W. Okay, so his W costs 5 feathers. Okay, 5 feathers, and it marks an enemy, and then marked enemies will take more damage. Okay, so if I press W, you can see that this guy gets like a little feather on top of his head. So that feather will be there for 10 seconds. And also during this time, this guy will take increased damage by me, pretty much. So yeah, that's very good for single target. Honestly, very good. It will give you a big boost to your damage. It's very nice. It's a nice ability, right? And it costs 5 feathers. Keep that in mind, guys, because like I said, HAWKS is all about managing the economy of your feathers. So then we have his E, right? And so his E is going to cost 15 feathers, and also it deals damage and drops a feather with each hit, right? And feathers will become homing if there's a marked enemy. So let me show you guys. So if I press E, right, it's like an AoE. It's an AoE that shoots everywhere. He doesn't have a cooldown, which is really awesome. And the reason why it doesn't have a cooldown is because it already has a feather cost, right? So it already costs you 15 feathers to use your E, and you can use it as long as you have 15 feathers to use to spare, right? And basically, it's just an AoE that shoots everywhere. Again, very useful for PvE to fight against mobs and stuff like that. But if I mark my enemy with my W and then I use my E, you can see that the feathers will go straight to him and hit him 15 times. So that's very good. Very good. it's definitely going to be extremely helpful in charging your ultimate, which is what HAWKS is all about, right? So yeah, your E is very nice. Also, another thing is that your E changes into something else when you use your ultimate. Okay, so let's use the ultimate right away. So when in ultimate, right, after using ultimate, HAWKS will be like high. Very poor choice of words, but yes, HAWKS will be flying high, right? And so his abilities will go away. He cannot use his Q or his W, but he can still use his E, and his E is actually going to be different. His E is now like a rain of feathers, a sort of AoE, right? And it's a rain of feathers that lasts for a while. So it costs 15 feathers, like I said, right? It deals damage, drops a feather with each hit, and oh, I'm sorry, no, I'm reading the first one. I'm reading the first E. I'm so sorry. So this E, the one with the ultimate, let me go and do it again. So this E is actually going to cost 25 feathers, and it's going to mark the enemy too, right? So you can't use your W, but you can still mark an enemy with your E, right? And also it will like this effect will last longer, right? This little rain of feathers will last longer the more feathers that you have in your stack, right? I think it adds by like 0.5 seconds or 0.405 seconds, something like that. So yeah, you can see the first time that I used it that I had almost a full stack and it lasted for a while. So yeah, it can last a while. That's very good. It's going to be very damaging, especially because you mark the enemy too, so they will take increased damage. That's very good, very good. I really like that. Then we have his ultimate. His ultimate is another thing that I really like, because you guys already know that I like ultimates that aren't just some pretty animation that deals a lot of damage, but actual useful ultimates that, you know, have a function. So HAWKS ultimate actually does quite a few things. So the first thing that it will do is that if you're close to an enemy, it will deal damage. So it's not like Stain. It is like Stain's ultimate in the sense that he becomes something else, right? It's like a transformation, like you saw, guys. He just flies high, and Stain just pulls out his katana, but it's still like different abilities. It's a different stance, a different mode, whatever you want to call it, right? But the difference is that Stain doesn't deal damage when he pulls out his katana, while HAWKS will. You can see right there, we dealt 2,000 damage. This is an alternative account. This is not my main account, so obviously I don't have anything like upgrade or anything like that. So yeah, HAWKS is like level 30 or something. So yeah, I don't have chips, I don't have cards, I don't have anything. So yeah, bear with me, guys. I couldn't pull him in my main account. So yeah, you can see that HAWKS is going to fly for a while too. He flies for actually quite a while, and basically you determine for how long you can fly whenever you use your ultimate, which is pretty much, I'm pretty sure it's like his E, but I might be wrong in this one. I'm not 100% sure, but it's basically, as far as I understand, it's like his E, in the sense that when you use your ult, you will recall all the feathers on the floor, and then you will add to that number, to the number of feathers that you picked up from the floor, you can add, or you will add 10, right? And then the total amount that comes out of that, right? So if I pick up 10 feathers from the floor, I add 10 on top of that, so that's 20. That's 20 seconds that I will be on the, like, in the air, flying high, right? I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Please, guys, correct me if I'm wrong. I might be wrong on this one. I'm not 100% sure. So so that's another thing that HAWKS does. He picks up the feathers. Okay, he picks up all the, you can see that I'm just standing there and I'm dropping feathers all the time, right? So his ultimate will pick up the feathers. It will also deal damage, and it will push him into this flying high state, right? Also, another thing that it does is that it will give me 50% damage reduction. So while you're in this state right here, right, flying, you have 50% damage reduction. 50% is insane, guys, because your damage decrease, right, from your ult, the 50% damage decrease from your ult is actually did I say increase? I meant decrease. I'm sorry. So the damage decrease from your ult, the 50% damage decrease from your ult, will actually stack on top of the decrease that you already have with it, like just in your account, right? I'm sure you know that some stats in your chips or your gear say decrease. Decrease is basically just a percentage of damage that you don't take from your enemies, right? It's just damage reduction. It's the same thing, right? So they stack together just like Stain does. And so you will probably have around 60, 70, 80, depending on what your decrease stat is in your account, you will have 60, 70, 80% damage reduction when you're in your in your ult, which is crazy. That is a lot of damage reduction. Another thing is that if you do his talents in the way that I recommended, guys, and you go for the left path, you also get hyper armor after using your ult. While you're in the air, after using your ult, you also have hyper armor. And as if that wasn't enough, you also get 30% attack damage just from his ult. That I just forgot to mention that before, but his ult gives him 30% attack damage increase. It gives him a 50% damage decrease that stacks already on top of the decrease that you have in your account. And if you do his left path in the talent tree, you also get hyper armor. So his ult is insane. His ult is ridiculous. His kit is all about going for his ult. 1,000,000% you want to go for his ult when you're playing HAWKS. HAWKS is all about doing his ult. So his E is actually something that I forgot to mention, is that his E will help him charge his ultimate too. It's not just his Q, but his E too. His Q and his E both will help him, giving him more energy towards his ultimate so that he can charge it up faster. So very crazy character, very awesome. I really, really like that this is an ultimate centered character. We finally have one. So yeah, that's very, very cool. I really, really, really like the way that HAWKS works. All right, guys, and now we come to his quirk. There are a few things to take into account when it comes to his quirk. So let me deplete my feathers first, so that I can show you guys what his quirk actually does. So his quirk is kind of like an all-in sort of ability, in the sense that if you use it, it will replenish all of your feathers at once, right? You will have all your feathers back up, and also the cost for your feathers will go down to 0. So basically, what I mean is, if I use my quirk, I can then use I have infinite feathers, and I can spam my E and my W as much as I like with no worries whatsoever, because I can't because the cost, the feather cost of my abilities goes down to 0. I'm really sorry if I get stuck. I've been speaking like the whole day because, like I said, we made a 5-hour stream, so I'm a little bit tired. But yeah. One thing to keep in mind. Okay, so basically, it replenishes my feathers, and it lowers the cost of all of my feather abilities to 0, so that I can spam them. But at the end of the quirk, right, when the quirk ends, my feathers will go down to 0. So that's the only, that's the downside of it, right? Like, that's the reason why it's an all-in sort of ability, right? Because if you do it, you will have, we will be able to spam your abilities and stuff. Yeah, sure. But you will go down to 0 feathers after you are done. And another thing is that you cannot use abilities that require feathers, right, that have a feather cost, for 8 seconds after your quirk is done. I'm pretty sure that's bugged. HAWKS actually has quite a few bugs, probably because it released in the global version first, so they couldn't work those out before they released it for us. Like they did with the other characters, right, that were already in the Taiwanese version. So there are quite a few bugs with HAWKS, but I think one of them is that that 8-second restriction where you can't use abilities that cost feathers right after using your quirk is not working. I can still use abilities, so I don't know, it's very weird. But there is one saving grace for this quirk. Basically, if you use it, right? Let's say I use it, and then if I go into my ultimate, right? If I go into my ultimate right after using my quirk, when my quirk is done, I won't get my feathers depleted. That is huge. But I can still, right? I can still use my feather abilities. So again, I'm pretty sure that it's just bugged, because I can still use my E. So I'm pretty sure that that quirk is bugged. But yeah, that is the saving grace. It is an all-in sort of ability if you don't use your ult. But if you use your ult right after using your quirk, right? You actually won't get your feathers thrown back to zero again. Well, okay. Well, guess I'm not using my quirk. I guess not. Okay. Well, like I said, HAWKS is pretty bugged nowadays. So we're just gonna have to wait until they fix him a little bit. But yeah, the skill's actually pretty good because you will use it in combination with this ult, which is honestly what you want to do already anyways. Because like I said before, HAWKS is all about his ult. HAWKS is an ult kind of character. So yeah. Definitely keep that in mind, guys. And now finally we go to his auto attacks, right? So basically, his auto attacks, there's two different auto attacks that he has. One is this fist, right? The regular fist that we all know. And basically, this one has two different effects depending on which hit it is doing. So it's a 4-hit combo, right? It's a 4-hit auto attack combo. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? So on the second hit, you can see that it will lift the enemy into the air. Let me show you. 1, 2, right? It lifts the enemy into the air, and HAWKS goes into the same state of flying that he goes into when he uses his ult, right? Let me show you. So 1 and 2, right? So he goes there for a very, very brief period, right? But he does, which means again that if you do the talents in the way that we recommended and you go for left first, you will actually have hyper armor during that second hit because you will be flying, and so that talent is going to give you hyper armor, which is very good. That means that it will be a lot harder to actually stop your auto attack combo, which is very, very nice, especially for a speed character. And then the fourth hit is an AoE. Let me show you. 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? You can see that it kind of like feathers kind of rain down, and he also shoots feathers forward. So yeah, his fourth hit is an AoE. I'm sorry if you can hear my dog barking. So yeah, so that's one of his two available combos, right? So the other one comes when he uses his ult. So when he uses his ult, you can see that the fist changes into a wing, and so if you just long press on the wing, he will just shoot. He just shoots feathers forward, pretty much. It just becomes a machine gun, pretty much what it does, which is very, very nice. It lasts for a very, very long time. And of course, if you mark your enemy, oh, okay, well, I ran out just when I said that. So if you mark your enemy, right, and then you long press on this auto attack, wing, you actually have your feathers become, you can actually have your feathers become homing. So the feathers will chase down whichever enemy is marked, right? So you won't miss your feathers, which is very, 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 very good, very, very useful. You will be dealing tons and tons and tons of damage, right? Especially if you get a lot of crit with HAWKS. You definitely want crit with HAWKS because you will deal tons of damage. You can see how many times he is hitting. It is crazy. That's why he is a speed character. So yeah, that's gonna be it for his abilities, guys, and let's now go right away to the core gameplay. Alright guys, and now for the core gameplay. Let's just go through it real quick because as usual this is all stuff that I already mentioned, but this is just there for people, that won't look and that won't watch the video and will just come straight to the guide, right? So your main damage will come from your feathers. I should probably add there that more specifically your main damage will probably come after you use your ultimate, right? But mostly your feathers. What I mean by your feathers is you won't be auto-attacking all that much. You will be using your abilities to deal damage. And your abilities obviously all are with feathers, right? They all use feathers. So that's what I mean by your feathers, okay? Then we have that you want to cast your E while airborne. So basically, after you use your alt, right? We're just trying to find ways, around saying that while high. So you want to cast your E while airborne as often as possible while using Q to replenish feathers and deal additional damage. You will see this when we get to the optimal combo. And but yeah, we'll just talk about it when we get to the optimal combo. So yeah, you want to cast Q to replenish your feathers, because remember that you can use your Q to bring back the feathers that are on the floor back to you, so that you can replenish your stack, right? So make sure the next thing, right, is that make sure that your alt that you ult before your special runs out. Exactly what I was telling you before, guys. You need to ult before your special runs out, because otherwise your DPS is going to be awful. The reason why is because you'll run out of feathers. If your quirk goes all the way, right, and you don't ult, you will just be on 0 feathers. When they fix this bug, because I think that's a bug, you won't be able to cast abilities that involve feathers for 8 seconds. So it's a disaster, right? So make sure that you can alt before you use your special, right? Obviously, well, you want to alt after you use your special, but make sure that your alt is available before you press the special button, right? I hope that's clear. Then the last thing is that you want to cast your alt as much as possible to stay in high mode, or airborne mode, or whatever you want to call it, where you will get damage reduction, hyper armor, and 30% attack buff. Ridiculous, guys. You want to use your alt as much as possible. For sure, your alt is going to be a beast, or it's going to make you a beast, more like it, right? So yeah, with that said, let's move on to the optimal combos. Alright guys, so now for the combos. Unfortunately guys, this time I'm not going to be able to show you the full combo. It's not very hard. It might look like it's hard because it's long, so it's not hard, you just have to memorize it pretty much. But it's actually very, very easy to do. Because, there isn't... HAWKS doesn't really change his abilities that much. Well, I mean, he does change his abilities, but it's not in a way that is like very complicated or anything like Aizawa, right? So the reason why I can't show you the combos this time is because to actually pull the combos, or the optimal combo that we're showing you here, you're actually going to need the 6-star chipset, because the 6-star chipset is going to give you a high chance to regenerate a feather whenever you use either one of your E's or either one of your normal attacks, your auto attacks. So unfortunately, this is a secondary account of mine. The one that I'm using to showcase HAWKS is actually a secondary account of mine, and I don't have it upgraded at all. I think it's like level 20 something. So unfortunately, obviously, I can't go through the last stage of Night Ops to get his 6-star chips, and therefore I can't show you the full combos. So I am going to pull HAWKS in my main account, but I just have to reach Pity, right? And Pity for me is probably going to be tomorrow or the day after. So I promise you guys that as soon as I get HAWKS in my main account and I upgrade him, I already have his 6-star chips because I was ready to pull him. So as soon as I get in my main account and I put the chips on him, I will make a short, right? A short, not a full video, obviously, because that would be dumb. But I'm gonna make a short showing you guys how to do the combo. But for now, I'm going to, I'm going to give the microphone to YuYJ, and he's the one that is going to tell us how the combo works. While in the meantime, on the screen, I'm going to show you like parts of the combo as far as I can go, right? Without without that 6-star chipset, unfortunately. So yeah, guys. Hopefully that's clear. Hopefully it's not too messy without a visual explanation. But yeah, I promise you guys, in 2 or 3 days, whenever I get HAWKS, I will upload a short, and you can just see how the full combo works there. So.
Okay, so Hawks' rotation is very, very intricate and very demanding. If you mess anything up, you will be hard punished, and it's just not good, man. So I am not going to read off this list of just letters and stuff, but I'm going to talk a little bit about the things you want to pay attention to so that you don't mess it up. All right, and you can check the rotation in the Google Doc or on your screen as well. Just follow along. But the main point is that your second auto in your auto chain will lift you off the ground, and you will be considered airborne for the purpose of your hyper armor and attack talent on the left side. And while you are airborne, using any of your abilities, so E, Q, or W, will extend your airborne for the duration of the cast time. So you can cast all of these abilities while getting this 30% attack bonus, which is very important. The next thing to pay attention to is that do not cast E unless the enemy is marked with your W. All right. So that's how this rotation functions. You go into the air with second auto or third auto, and you mark them, and then you use E as much as possible. Q will help you cycle your feathers. It helps restore feathers for you to continue to spam E. And then once you fully run out of feathers, basically over the duration of one W mark, you can spam out all of your feathers by following the rotation. And then once your feathers are gone, as soon as your W is back up, you want to go back into the air, use your W, and then use quirk to refill your feathers, and then spam them out. Spam as many E's as you can on the air, and this will also refill your ultimate. An important thing for ultimate: you want to ult at max feathers every time. Do not ult. Well, you can still ult with no feathers. It's just that your ult DPS is going to be considerably lower. HAWKS' A passive is 24% crit if you are on 60 feathers, and it scales down as you have less feathers, which is why you really, really want to go into your ultimate with full feathers. And the way you do this is just to ult while your quirk is active. That's the easy way to do it. Otherwise, you're probably going to have a really hard time doing any sort of meaningful damage. That's the basic theory behind the rotation. Again, the specific is listed on your screen. You can read it over in the Google Doc, practice it, try to get it to work. It is very tight. If you miss time, any button press, you're not gonna get to your ultimate by the end of the rotation, or by the point of the rotation where it says you will, and you might end up ulting on no feathers and doing no damage. And one last note, that his special is currently bugged. You can see this bug pretty much wherever, but it's really easy to see in training mode. If you use special and then you ultimate, and it doesn't matter if you ultimate during the special or after the special, you will not be able to reactivate your special again until you ult a second time. Okay? And this is in training, this is in assessments, this is in emergency, this is in any content or HAWKS, where you might play HAWKS. All right? And this is really huge because HAWKS is very dependent on his special if you don't have Mastermind. He's dependent on his special to be able to quickly build up his ultimate and to refill his feathers and actually do damage. A workaround is that in content, where you are able to toggle autoplay on. Once your special is recovered, but you can't activate it again because it's bugged, you can toggle auto on, let it run for a little bit. It will automatically activate your quirk, and then you can just go from there. But that's a workaround for now. I submitted a bug report. Please take a minute out of your time to put a bug report in through the support page in game, if you could. And yeah, that's it.
Alright guys, and finally we arrive at his cards. You guys already know about the recommended cards. You guys already know that I always recommend the two EX cards, the two exclusive cards, right? Always. Then we have Shigi and Nomu. Recommend both. Nomu maybe a little bit less than Shigi because Nomu procs off of auto attacks and you won't really be auto attacking that much. Except when you're in your, well, I guess when you're in your ult, you will be out attacking a lot. But definitely prioritize Shigi if you really want to go for his best cards. Definitely, if you only have one choice, you can definitely prioritize Shigi, but Nomu will be good too. Uh, so yeah, you guys already know how this works, right? You know what the cards do and everything. So for the budget cards, we're gonna recommend Ectoplasm again, same thing because of the auto attacks. He's actually going to auto attack a lot when he's using his E and well, I'm sorry, not his E, but when he's using his auto attack after using his ultimate, right? Also Combat Fist for the crits, Ragdoll for the crits, May because you're also going to be using your skills a lot and May increases your skill damage. So definitely, that's the way to go with his cards. So very quick, very easy. Then let's move to his chips. So for his chips, you want to prioritize crit and then speed. The reason why crit is being prioritized here is because crit is actually you're gonna hit a lot of times with HAWKS, right? You're gonna be able to proc crits a lot of times because he's going to be attacking a lot, right? Like whenever he uses his feathers, his E, right, or even his auto attack when he is on like after his ultimate, he is going to be critting a lot, right? So or he's going to be proccing damage a lot, and each proc is going to like be able to give you a crit, and that is a lot of damage. Obviously, if not crit, then you want to go for speed, right? Like pretty straightforward, pretty normal stuff. So then we have his chipset. So his chipset is actually going to be it's actually going to be that a high chance to restore one feather when E skill, disperse or downfall or normal attack feather combo or air combo hits a marked enemy. The max number of fallen feathers allowed on the field is increased to 15. I think the base amount is 10, I'm pretty sure. So now this increases that to 15, which is pretty good. Like I said before, guys, you definitely are going to need this chipset in order to actually be able to effectively use the optimal combo that we showed you in the guide. The reason why is because of the high chance to restore one feather when using E or normal attacks. So yeah, I know it's very unfortunate, especially for new players, but like it is an in-depth guide, and that is the most optimal combo, and it is doable as a free-to-play. It's perfectly doable as a free-to-play. Shouldn't even take any effort, right? Like it's just normal progression in the game. Then when it comes to his talents, like yes, this time I added talents. Every single time that I do my ultimate talent, not talent tree guys, but my ultimate character guides, I always get some comments asking me where are the talents. Usually I like to add them because I already have the ultimate talent tree, so you can go check that out instead. And this makes the video way too long. This video is already super long, but we had just some extra space, so I said why not. So for his talents, you want to go left first because left will give you hyper armor. Like we already talked about all this, right? Left will give you hyper armor and a 30% attack buff after using your ult, which is very, very, very good. Or well, being high, right? And you will be high quite a lot. Quite a lot if you're using the optimal combo, right? And then the other branch is going to be bottom right. It's very good for PvE mobs, and also it's a huge attack buff. Like after picking up feathers, and you're going to be doing that a lot with the combo that we showed you. We're gonna skip the miscellaneous today because this video is just incredibly long. I think this is the longest guide ever. So we're gonna end the guide here, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this was useful, informative. I'm sorry if it's a little messy. Like I said, I recorded 2 videos today and I did 2 streams. One of them was over 5 hours. So I'm extremely exhausted, but I wanted to get this guide out today. So hope this was useful. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. Leave a comment. Did you learn something new? Do you have something to add, or do you think I should remove something or change something? Please let me know. You guys know I always listen to your advice. And so yeah, that's gonna be it. Subscribe if you'd like more guides like this, and I'll see you guys on the next one.